Lee, welcome to the show. Your vision for sustainable development, one gets so accustomed to massive summits telling countries what to do, but Gabon has some ideas of its own on how to proceed with this.
Indeed we do. Good morning. We're actually in the process of kind of, regardless really of what's going on in Rio, of creating a whole new vision for sustainable development in Gabon. So we're just passing a law that's working its way through Parliament right now to kind of formalize how we think about kind of sustainable development in a formal sense. And we're integrating kind of natural capital and sustainability across the whole economy in a very formal way.
Okay, Lee, you're breaking up slightly. Perhaps you could just put your get a straight line between you and the microphone as you speak there. You talk about concepts of social capital, natural capital, and economic capital, and these, your president has said, should be combined to develop sustainable development.
Absolutely. As we kind of look forwards, our plans are that every project in Gabon will be evaluated to take into account its impact on the economy, obviously, but also on climate. So thinking about carbon emissions, on biodiversity and ecosystem. So we're setting up a system of biodiversity and ecosystem services credits, somewhat modelled on the system that already exists in Australia. And then we're incorporating kind of the social side of development. And so we're looking at community capital and taking some inspiration from Prince Charles, and he has a foundation for building community capital. And we're trying to formalize that every project in Gabon will evaluate how it is improving social welfare.
Lee, one of the issues with sustainable development is that, first of all, you've got to change mindsets, get people to do things differently. Another is that sometimes shifting to new ways of doing things costs money that they would prefer not to spend, and perhaps would think should be better spent elsewhere. So there are costs. How are you managing that aspect of it?
Well, we're going to set up a national credit system such that any project in Gabon will be evaluated on its, how it's contributing to social capital, whether or not it has any negative impacts on climate, so on carbon and on biodiversity. And we'll be setting up a national offset system, which sounds a little bit scary sometimes for the private sector, but we've found that thus far that the private sector seems very, very encouraged actually that we are formalizing a system whereby everybody will be put on a level playing field, and the efforts that we're making in Gabon will be compared to what's happening elsewhere in the world.
That was Lee White. Thanks to Lee. He is Special Advisor on Sustainable Development to the President of Gabon.